And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second half of the broadcast, the second half of the 2025 GSL Season 1 Round of 8 Group B. We just wrapped up with our first two matches. We had some interesting matches. We had a back and forth between Classic and Rainer, but we also had something a little bit more one-sided between GuMiho and Maru. Again, GuMiho was hyper aggressive in that series, and Maru had a really hard time keeping up with GuMiho, at least when it came to his Protoss. But we'll see how GuMiho's TVP fares even further coming into our second series, into, I should say, our winners match to determine who makes it through into the playoffs. Who's the first player to make it out of the group into the round of 4? Is it going to be Classic or GuMiho? We're here to find out. Let's go. As we are jumping into our first series, game 1 is going to be on Pylon. Again, GuMiho is warmed up. At the same time, Classic, he also got a glimpse of what GuMiho has to offer. I don't know if there's really much to gain from that. GuMiho was just very aggressive, a little bit cheeky, of course, on Incorporeal, but now we're leading into Pylon. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Pylon, we have our South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Seoul Esports. It is GuMiho. SHUL. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Here we go. So we're calming down as we are going to be settling in, and welcome on to Pylon. Pylon is a bit of a wider map, that is true. The map itself is a little bit larger, but the rush distance by ground is actually short. It's a shorter rush distance by ground. I should also emphasize it's a very direct rush distance by ground as well. We've seen a lot of aggression favored on Pylon, a lot of aggression, especially at the third base location. It's quite difficult to defend and survive certain timings and certain pushes, so we'll see how both Classic and GuMiho will approach this. I'm imagining aggression. Yep, there we go. Double gas opener out of GuMiho. Now, last time we saw GuMiho open up double gas was against Maru, and it was game 2 where he did go into a 1-1-1 early Cyclone into early tank into an early tank all-in against Maru. Now, this doesn't have to lead into an all-in, this doesn't have to lead into aggression, but it can. That's what's dangerous about double gas. This could lead into Reactor Reaper Hellion, this can lead into Banshees, it can lead into tank drop, it can lead into Cyclone drop. There's a lot of aggressive options here available to GuMiho, and GuMiho, he walls off and he denies the scout from Classic. So scouting is denied. For the Classic nose, it could be double gas, or it could be a CC further back on the high ground to expand on the low ground. Like, it is not uncommon for a Terran player to fake a more aggressive build and just go for the CC. So Classic is in the dark, and behind this may just rely on a sentry for a hallucination. It would make the most sense for now. Okay, going for the Adept. The Adept is a bit of a more aggressive option. It does provide some scouting, as he's going to be able to shade across the map, but we'll see if he can get into the main. See if he can get in. So now CC is on the low ground, on a location. Reaper gets across the map, and it does slip into the mineral line. No scouting. He's looking for pylons. The pylon placement here, I mean, there's a second pylon at the natural, first pylon further back at the ramp. Nothing else to confirm. Ooh, and the Reaper should be shut down. Oh, there we go. Reaper's cleaned up. And what is being done with that gas? So we initially have Reaper Hellion, true, but we do have a reactor on the way on the racks. We have a tech lab on the way on the factory, starports in production. This can lead into a Cyclone drop. This can lead into an add-on swap instead. We'll see what is done with the factory and with the starport. Meanwhile, we have the tech of choice. Classic is going into a Twilight Council, into Blink Stalker. Oh. Into Blink. Meanwhile, the wall is open. The wall is barely open in time. 2 probes going to be going down. Nice damage here from GuMiho. Hellion slips in, gets one more volley, and gets one more probe as a result. 3 probes, not bad. Can we get 4? We shouldn't, but 3 worker kills is not bad at all. Going back into the main, going for another worker, and we'll get one. 4 probe kills. Behind this, of course, this got the tech. Twilight Council is a part of the wall, so is aware of the blink. Meanwhile, across the map, CC is going to be delayed. Not bad. SCV goes down. Command center is delayed, and we have the answer here to what was made first. Tech lab into not Cyclone. Tech lab into very fast tank production. Early tank has arrived. As a result, charge, the blink is cancelled. Nice call. So, okay, first things first. One, a tank this early on is not normal. It's not normal to have a tank this early on. So, really fast tank production out of GuMiho. Very aggressive, is going for the tank drop. Meanwhile, as soon as he saw the tank, cancels blink, goes into charge. Charge is more efficient here, is very middle base, of course, but is designed to shut down all ins. There's a recall back home. Tank drop towards the pylon. Going into the main. Oh my god. Where are we going? What's the plan? GuMiho, calm down. Getting a little bit too frisky here. GuMiho, he will lose the medevac. Yeah, medevac is hunted down. Brutal pickoff. GuMiho rallying all the way to the main. That was just ambitious. And he should lose this tank. Behind this, charges on the way. Gateways as well. GuMiho trying to catch the stalkers. Does save the tank at least. At least he hopes to. Yeah. Does siege on the high ground. Forces back classic. GuMiho already up to 3 tanks. Again, this tank count is just really large and really early. Really fast this early on. Behind this, rushing into Stim. Into Marauder production as well. Interesting. And this may lead into a 2-base all-in. I mean, it's really tech heavy. I mean, you can already see a 4th tank already. Jesus. 4th tank is on the way. But as a reminder, what shuts down tank pushes? Charge. Right, charge is already complete. Charge is ready here for classic. And we're waiting for the move out. And speaking of, yep, here comes the Unsiege. We pull the boys. 2-base all in. 2-base all in out of GuMiho. 4 tanks. Again, the tank count is just really early, really fast, really large this early on. Again, just going for tank production from the beginning. Stim is going to be done in time for the push, and it's all or nothing with GuMiho. But again, charge is already complete, and we're going for the tanks. Charge, I'll say, just mow through those Marines real fast. There's no Stim. Stim in 10 seconds. And you can see GuMiho's army just melts. It just melts here. It evaporates. Down to 2 tanks. A nice control, nice drop play, not bad. GuMiho, oh my god. The micro is there. GuMiho punishes the stalkers. But GuMiho, he lost so much already. Looking at the trades here, GuMiho, he lost 16 Marines. He lost 2 tanks, a Marauder. And remember, he was all in, he lost 12 SCVs. There's no turning back from this. Like, he's got to keep going. He pulls back the boys. The all-in has failed. And that was the power of charge, right? That's why Classic got charged so quickly, because it trades so well against bio-tank compositions this early on. Oh my god, feedbacks, they pop up. And Classic, he's miles ahead at this point. Classic, he's getting a 3rd base. He's taking up into Storm, into Blink, into Forger +1. GuMiho, he pulls the boys for a 2nd time. He has to. Like, there's no macroing out of this for GuMiho. He has to commit. But there's barely anything left. There's how many Marines? 18. 18 Marines remaining. Now, this time he will have Stim. This time Stim is done. GuMiho pushes forward. He's forced to siege. There's a scan. Takes down the observer. Storm is already complete. Jesus. Oh my god. First storm on the tanks. 2nd storm on some of the bio. And another, yeah, the tank's gonna go down. They're the first things to fall. GG gets called, and Classic takes game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Again, when you're playing against GuMiho in this matchup, scouting is paramount. And for Classic to scout and to confirm that early tank, that was everything. That was almost game then and there. When he saw the early tank, bam, canceled blink, started charge, threw down gateways, and he was ready. He was ready for the all-in. The all-in eventually arrived, but Classic, he was so on top of that, able to engage ahead of time, engage in the center of the map before Stim finished. He caught the tanks unsieged, and Classic, he shut down the all-in as soon as it started. With that, GG. GG, well played. Now getting into game number 2, and we'll see what GuMiho has in store for us next time. Now, what I love about GuMiho's TVP is that he will have a different build every game, 100%. He will have a different build, even though he did go for an all-in here. This was a different variation of what he did against Maru. Very different. So, different build still out of GuMiho, and we'll see how we adjust coming into game 2. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Ultra Love, we have the South Korean Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Seoul Esports. It is GuMiho. And spawning in the bottom, on the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Protoss player, the Blue Protoss, representing Virtus Pro. It is Classic. Again, GuMiho, he had some very impressive micro and control, and even though the initial charge timing or the initial engage should have gone more heavily in favor of Classic, GuMiho actually held his own and was able to preserve some army and have a follow-up, but the problem was he was just so far behind regardless. Again, it all came down to the scouting of Classic, and we'll see if GuMiho once again goes double gas. I feel like a lot of this series is going to come down to what GuMiho does and whether or not Classic is aware. I feel like that's what it comes down to. Meanwhile, once again, double gas. I expect this every game in this series. So double gas opener out of GuMiho once again. Last game, this led into early tank production, into a 2-base all-in. This doesn't have to be the same build though. As we mentioned, this could be into Cloak Banshee. This could lead into a double Cyclone or into Cyclone production. This can lead into a committed mine drop. This can lead a couple different ways. Or early tank drop into a tank based all in, which is what we saw last game. So GuMiho, he has options. Once again, it's going to be on Classic to determine what exactly is going on. Does dip in with the probe. And this time the wall is open. This time the wall is open, and Classic, yep, he scouts the factory, he knows. So he's now aware that once again it's going to be a tech heavy start for GuMiho. And it's going to be on Classic to play it safe. Now, I do not expect GuMiho to do the same build 2 games in a row. No shot. I don't expect the same build again in this series. So I would say it is safer for Classic to open up Blink Stalker. I do think it's safer here. If he wanted to be incredibly safe, he could go for a Robo opener. I don't think that's necessary, but he could go for that as well. That's also viable. I would not want to see a Stargate. No shot. Don't pull a Maru. As Classic dips in, there we go. Tech of choice, Twilight Council out of Classic. Meanwhile, early Tech Lab. Uh-oh. Now, we saw last game this led into an early tank. This time, we could see an early Cyclone instead. There it is. Early Cyclone out of GuMiho into the starport. Now, this can lead into a second Cyclone, or it could be a Cyclone opener into a delayed tank to hide it. Where the Cyclone denies the Adept Scouts, and then you hide the tank, you preserve it, then you go for like a bit of a later tank all-in. Or tank drop. Otherwise, this could be an add-on swap. This could just be a second Cyclone after this, just to be safe. Okay, so single Cyclone into add-on swap. Which means no tank. No tank from GuMiho. From here, do we go into Cloak Banshee? Yep, there we go. Cloak Banshee's on the way. As we mentioned at the start of the game, this is one of the possibilities here when it comes to double gas openers, is Cloak Banshee. Of course, Classic knows this. He knows that this is a possibility, but again, has no confirmation yet. For all he knows, it could be Cyclone into tanks again. So Hallucination moves out to Scouts. GuMiho with the interception. Nicely done. Does intercept. And he will deny the Scout. The Hallucination. Oh no! He gets through! The Scout does get through. GuMiho, you can see the Marines, they rally over. He wants to intercept as best he can, but I don't think he can. And there we go. The Hallucination comes in. He sees everything. Classic, he gets eyes on the Hallucination. Sorry, on the Cloak, on the research. He knows. Classic, he's now aware. Again, that shouldn't have happened. The Cyclone had one job. And he almost pulled it off. Almost. So behind this, you can see Classic splitting up his Stalkers, getting in position. Robo's on the way for the Observer. Meanwhile, GuMiho, he's actually moving out. So he went for a delayed tank after this. Now, remember, the Tech Lab was spotted. And you can see Classic intercepting. Catching out a Marine. Catching out the Cyclone. Very nice. Ooh, as the Cyclone does fall. Massive pickoff. The rest of the army has arrived. Oh my, oh, bit of awkward control there from Classic. Banshee into the main. Cloak was finished. Was researched. Where's the detection? Observer still on the way. This one Banshee getting 5 probe kills. At the same time, GuMiho trying to catch out the Stalkers. There we go. Observer has arrived. 6 probes for the Banshee. A very messy defense here from Classic, but he does hold. He does defend. More Banshees are on the way. So we go, second Banshee on the right hand side. GuMiho falling back. Behind this, 2 more Maxes. He's building up into the mid game. So GuMiho, he has lost map control, but my concern here is that Classic, he moves out with all his Stalkers. Does he have anything at home to defend? Remember, there's still a Banshee. There's a shield battery in the main. There's an Observer in soon to be both mineral lines. Stalkers, oh, they poke in. Classic gets punished. Goes to the time. Oh, this is dangerous here. Does lose a lot of Stalkers in the process. Gets a tank, but bleeds out a lot here. Stalkers are going down. A Banshee into the main. Alas, Stalkers are keeping up. And Classic, he will defend. As another Banshee's moving out. Ooh. 1 Banshee left. Heading into the bases. Behind this, 3rd base on the way for Classic, getting into charge. He let out 6 Stalkers earlier. And these Banshees are just being so annoying. It's not bad. And Classic has to race back home again. Behind this, 3rd CC's on the way. GuMiho building up towards a longer and later game. Not going for an all-in this time. As the aggression subsides, where exactly are we and what are we looking like? I mean, GuMiho did lose a lot of high-tech units. We see that he lost 2 tanks, 2 Banshees. He did trade against Stalkers at least, and at least he got 8 probe kills. He's in a decent position here. I would say that Classic does have a lead, does have map control, and should have an economic advantage. But GuMiho's not out of this. From here, Classic, he should be able to delay the 3rd and get a 4th base. The problem, though, is that Classic doesn't know if he's expanding. Remember, he's playing against GuMiho. For all he knows, it could be another 2-base all-in. Like, Classic, he has not seen the command center. So Classic has to play it safe. Oh. Gets a Marine. Gets 1, gets 2. Gets 3. You can see GuMiho trying to micro those Marines, trying to pick them up one at a time, but alas, 1 second too late. Marines do go down. Classic falling back. Storm is complete. Uh-oh. He's got 2-eyed Templar in the Prism. Looking for those juicy connections. There she's revealed. GuMiho breaks out. As he breaks out, he's expanding. Dusk in the main army. GuMiho rotates over. Let's rotate. Tanks are sieged. With those rocks being knocked down, it's going to be difficult for Classic to try to overwhelm. But the Prism does get over. He's ready for the surround. There's a scan. GuMiho sees the army. There's a siege. Ooh, does hard down the High Templar. He gets 1. Just the 1, though. And Classic will clean up. GuMiho picks up, heading into the main. Recall is available. Oh my god. Swords are popping up. And more storms as oh Jesus, more storms as well. Decent snipe there from GuMiho, does take down the High Templar at least, but he will lose everything here. At least he should. Nice stim though, nice control. Takes out the Stalkers, going for +1. Oh good, but another storm. Cleans up the army, takes down the drops. And suddenly this wasn't as worth it. Now at least GuMiho did trade with the High Templar. Checking the units tab here, only 2 High Templar remaining. So the High Templar count is quite low. Only 2 Templar. But Classic does catch out the army. Collapsing on the Marines. Nice kiting here by GuMiho, but here come the storms. There's the first. There should be another coming in. Yeah, and Classic, he'll just overwhelm. He'll overwhelm the army. GG gets called. GuMiho losing far too much, far too quickly. And Classic will take the series at 2-0. GG. GG, well played. Again, GuMiho, he had potential with his move out, but he got surrounded. He got caught unsieged. I'm referring to the moment outside of the would-be 4th base, where he lost all 3 of his tanks. He dropped into the main base, but again, Classic was all over the drop as well. And GuMiho, he had nothing left. It was already a rough start for GuMiho after kind of the failed tank aggression and Banshee aggression. We didn't mention that he wasn't too far behind, but then he was hyper aggressive and he got caught out. Right, he lost everything. He wasn't able to stabilize on 3 bases. GG. GG will play. The Classic does take the series, and a Classic, he will be the first to advance on into the round of 4. GG. GG, congratulations. Classic does make it out in 1st place. Not bad at all. Did drop a map to Rainer earlier to the mass meter, but remember that was just due to scouting. Here, he was on top of his scouting. He was on top of GuMiho time and time again. Shout out to Classic for the hallucination. If you recall, this could have been a different game if GuMiho denied that hallucination scout. Remember, the hallucination got across the map. It was able to bypass the cyclone, just barely broke the lock on, and got an eye on the double tech lab follow-up. He saw the researching cloak, he saw the tech lab on the factory, and he was able to be proactive, shut down the Banshees, and shut down the main tank push as well. He still lost 8 probes to the Banshees, which was still nice, but remember, it was 3 Banshees. Like, that was a big commitment from GuMiho, and it was still not enough. Still not quite. GG. With that, Classic does make it through, and we have our next match ready for us. This is going to be the elimination match. Up next, Rainer versus Maru. Let's go.